The observation deck of the Valdris warship hummed with anticipation. 36 of the galaxy's finest military minds stood in perfect formation, their scaled skin gleaming under the cold blue lights. I was among them. Commander Thex of the 4th Fleet, decorated veteran of 12 planetary conquests. And today I was about to witness the easiest victory in our empire's history. Or so I thought. Target confirmed, announced Lieutenant Voss, her claws clicking against the holographic display. Planet Earth. Third rock from an unremarkable yellow star. Dominant species calls themselves humans. I snorted. Humans. Even the name sounded soft. The intelligence officer, a young recruit named Pax, stepped forward nervously. Sir, our preliminary scans indicate they've only achieved basic space flight. Nuclear weapons. Combustion engines. Their most advanced fighter craft can barely break their own atmosphere. Perfect, I muttered, allowing myself a rare smile. Admiral Krent, we'll have this world subjugated before the second moon rises. Admiral Krent nodded, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. Deploy the standard invasion protocol. 3 capital ships. Minimal ground forces. This shouldn't take more than a rotation. Oh, how those words would haunt me. The jump to Earth space took 6 hours. 6 hours of confident chatter, victory songs, and more than a few bets on who would plant the Valdris banner first. I remember Officer Dex wagering his entire month's ration that we'd be home for the Festival of Flames. Poor Dex. He wouldn't live to see another festival. When we dropped out of hyperspace above Earth, the view was underwhelming. Blue and green, sure. Pretty, if you like that sort of thing. But no orbital defense platforms. No plasma shields. No fleet waiting to meet us. Sir, Voss called out, confusion creeping into her voice. They're not responding to our hails. Of course they're not, I replied. They probably think we're some weather phenomenon. Broadcast the standard surrender terms. The message went out in their primitive radio frequencies. It was simple, really. Surrender your weapons, accept Valdris rule, and your species would be allowed to continue existing. Generous, if you asked me. 3 minutes passed. Then 5. Then 10. Sir, we're receiving a response. Finally, put it through. The voice that crackled over our speakers was male, calm, and dripping with something I couldn't quite identify at the time. Later, I'd learned the humans called it sarcasm. Yeah, hi there. This is Colonel Marcus Webb of the United Earth Defense Force. We got your message. Here's ours. Go away. The observation deck fell silent. Someone in the back stifled what might have been a laugh. Admiral Krent's scales flushed purple with rage. Did that creature just tell us to leave? Apparently so, Admiral, I said, trying to keep my own voice steady. Perhaps they don't understand the situation. Lieutenant Voss, target their major population centers. Fire a warning shot at, what's that landmass called? North America. Vaporize something uninhabited but visible. A mountain range. Make it spectacular. The plasma cannons charged with a satisfying whine. The targeting computer locked onto a formation their maps called the Rocky Mountains. One pull of the trigger would turn 100 kilometers of rock into glass. Voss squeezed the trigger. Nothing happened. She tried again. Still nothing. The weapon's display blinked red, then yellow, then displayed a message I'd never seen before. External override detected. What does that even mean? I demanded, moving to her station. Our systems are shielded against electronic interference. Nothing on this planet should have the capability to. Sir, Pax interrupted, his voice cracking. We're being scanned. Deep scans. They're inside our network. Impossible, Admiral Krent barked. Our firewalls are military grade. Triple encrypted. These primitives don't even have quantum computing. But the displays told a different story. One by one, our systems turned red. Weapons offline. Shields offline. Life support fluctuating. And then, as if to add insult to injury, the main view screen flickered to life. The human face that appeared was grinning. Actually grinning. He sat in what looked like a control room, surrounded by other humans working at primitive computer terminals. All of them were smiling. Colonel Webb again, the human said cheerfully. So, couple of things. First, thanks for the free starships. We've been trying to reverse engineer faster than light travel for decades. You just saved us a ton of time. Second, about those weapon systems of yours. Really impressive stuff. We've already downloaded the schematics. Third, well. He paused, his grin widening. You really should have read up on us before dropping by. We don't do well with threats. We're kind of stubborn that way. This is outrageous. Admiral Krent roared. You dare mock the Valdris Empire? We've conquered 1,000 worlds. Yeah, we saw that in your database, Webb replied. Also saw that every single one of those worlds rolled over without much of a fight. Here's the thing, though. His smile disappeared. His eyes went cold. And in that moment, I felt something I hadn't experienced in 20 years of military service. Fear. We're not like them. The transmission cut out. Emergency klaxons began wailing throughout the ship. My tactical display showed something that made my blood run cold. 18 small craft. Primitive by our standards. Rising from Earth on trails of chemical fire. And every single one was armed with nuclear weapons pointed directly at us. Evasive maneuvers. I shouted. Get us out of. The ship didn't respond. We were dead in space. Sitting targets. And those missiles were accelerating fast. That was when I realized something terrifying. We hadn't invaded Earth. Earth had captured us. The missiles didn't hit us. That would have been merciful. Quick. Clean. No, what the humans did was so much worse. They stopped the missiles exactly 300 meters from our hull. Just sat there, hovering in space like a pack of predators circling wounded prey. The message was clear. We can end you whenever we want. Admiral, I said quietly, watching those primitive warheads pulse on the display. Perhaps we should consider opening negotiations. Krent's scales had gone from purple to a sickly gray. His 4 eyes were locked on the view screen where the missiles waited. Never. The Valdris Empire does not negotiate with inferior species. We are the conquerors. We are the dominant force in this sector. We have conquered. We have never been defeated. Never been humiliated like this. Well, came that infuriatingly calm human voice over our speakers. There's a first time for everything, Admiral. Webb was back, still sitting in that control room, still looking far too relaxed for someone who'd just taken 3 Valdris capital ships hostage. How? I demanded, stepping closer to the view screen. How did you penetrate our systems? Our technology is centuries beyond yours. We saw your computers, your networks. They're primitive, laughable. Webb leaned back in his chair, lacing his fingers behind his head. Yeah, see, that's where you made your first mistake. You assumed technology equals intelligence. Let me tell you something about humans, Commander. We've been hacking systems since before we had electricity. Lock-picking, safe-cracking, code-breaking. We had a whole war where the main weapon was mathematics. We broke codes the inventors swore were unbreakable. And that was 80 years ago with machines that had less computing power than a modern calculator. He leaned forward, and that cold look was back in his eyes. Your systems are advanced, sure, but they're also standardized, predictable, designed by a species that's never faced real opposition. You know what our motto is. If it exists, someone will figure out how to break it. Took our best team about 40 minutes to crack your encryption. Honestly, we were expecting more of a challenge. Pax made a strangled sound next to me. He'd been responsible for our cybersecurity. I made a mental note to have him reassigned. If we survive this, what do you want? Admiral Krent finally asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The defeat in his tone made my scales itch. This wasn't how Valdris warriors spoke. Oh, now we're talking, Webb said, grinning again. Here's the deal. You're going to leave. You're going to go back to your empire. And you're going to tell them that Earth is off limits. Permanently. No invasions. No colonization attempts. No surprise visits. We like our planet the way it is. Human-owned and operated. And if we refuse? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Webb shrugged. Then we send you home in very small pieces. Your choice. You'd murder 3,000 Valdris soldiers? Krent demanded. Murder? Webb's eyebrows rose. Admiral, you came here to subjugate our entire species. You were planning to kill anyone who resisted. Don't act shocked when your victims have teeth. He had a point. Not that I'd ever admit it out loud. There's more, Webb continued. We're keeping one of your ships. Payment for emotional distress. We'll reverse engineer it, figure out how your faster-than-light drives work, and probably have our own fleet built within a decade. Fair warning, by the way. Once we get out there, we're going to visit all those worlds you conquered. We're going to offer them a choice. Stay under Valdris rule or accept human protection. Protection? I couldn't help but laugh. You think you can protect 1,000 worlds? You're one planet. One planet that just captured 3 of your warships without firing a shot, Webb countered. One planet that hacked your entire network in under an hour. One planet that's been fighting wars against itself for 10,000 years and somehow hasn't gone extinct. Yeah, Commander, I think we can manage. The worst part was, I believed him. Looking at that human's face, at the confidence in his eyes, at the way his team worked behind him with focused efficiency, I believed every word. Admiral, I said quietly, I recommend we accept their terms. Krent looked at me like I'd suggested ritual suicide. Accept? You want us to surrender to these mammals? I want us to survive, I shot back. Look at the tactical display. We're defenseless. They control our ships, our weapons, our life support. They could kill us right now if they wanted. The fact that they're offering terms is more mercy than we would have shown them. The observation deck was silent except for the soft hum of dying systems. Every officer was looking at the Admiral, waiting for his decision. Some looked angry. Most looked scared. A few looked relieved. Finally, Krent's shoulders slumped. Fine. We accept your terms, human. We will leave. We will not return. Smart choice, Webb said. We're uploading navigation data to your ships now. We've plotted a course back to your space. We're also restoring partial control to your systems. Engines, life support, basic navigation. Don't try anything stupid, though. We've left a few surprises in your code. Think of them as insurance policies. The displays flickered. Green lights began appearing. Our engines came back online. I could have cried with relief. One more thing, Webb added, his voice taking on that hard edge again. Before you go, I want you to understand something. You came here thinking we were weak, primitive, easy prey. You looked at our technology and thought you knew everything about us. But technology isn't what makes a species dangerous. He stood up, and I could see now that he was wearing a military uniform covered in medals and ribbons. This wasn't some technician or scientist. This was a warrior. And behind him, dozens of other humans in similar uniforms were watching us with the same cold, calculating eyes. It's will, Webb continued. It's the refusal to give up. It's the ability to turn every disadvantage into a weapon. Humans have survived ice ages, plagues, asteroid impacts, and countless wars. We've stared extinction in the face 100 times and said no thanks, we're good. So when you get home, when you tell your empire about Earth, make sure you mention that. Make sure they understand. We're not prey. We're not victims. And we're sure as hell not easy. The transmission ended. The view screen went dark. And for a long moment, nobody moved. Set course for home, Admiral Krent finally ordered. Maximum speed. As the Valdris warship turned away from Earth, as that blue and green planet shrank in the view screen, I made a decision. When we got back, I was resigning my commission. I'd served the Empire faithfully for 20 years. Conquered 12 worlds. Earned enough medals to cover my chest. But I was done, because I'd just learned something terrifying about the universe. Somewhere out there, on an unremarkable planet orbiting an ordinary star, lived a species that could turn their weaknesses into strengths, that could hack advanced systems with primitive computers, that could stare down a superior force and make them blink first. And soon, very soon, those humans would be coming to visit the rest of the galaxy. I almost felt sorry for the Empire. Almost. Because we'd had our chance to make peace with Earth. We'd chosen conquest instead. And now, well, now humanity knew we existed. Knew we were hostile. Knew exactly what we'd tried to do. We came to conquer humans. We thought they'd be easy. We thought wrong. And something told me the galaxy would never be the same again. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.